being the entrance, like we always call the interior nares. We also call it the external nares. And we also have this imaginary line that is what we call the posterior or internal nares. We call it imaginary line. If you guys get confused, you could just always think of this as a US border and a Mexico or Canada border. I always like switch between Mexico and Canada because they're like your racist word. So right here is just a border between them.
The Canadians want us out, they're gonna build a real one.
So right here, the anterior to posterior, this right here is basically what we call the nasal cavity. And your nasal cavity, we always could find the superior, middle, and inferior concha. And then right here is what we find. Right here is your superior meatus, middle meatus, and inferior meatus. And basically those are the ones that humidifies the air before they go to the lungs. And from here, this area right here is basically what we call the nasopharynx. And we always find, the things that we always find in nasopharynx is things such as the adenoid and this thing called the auditory tube opening or the eustachian tube opening. You guys could always say either one. So that's what you could find to the nasopharynx. Then on the next on your list, I believe, is what we call the oral cavity. And basically your oral cavity is where your food goes in and goes there.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
Is that part right there the adenoid as well? The one that, you see the little plus sign? The plus sign.
What last one?
Right
Oh, this
there.
one? No, that's
Because that's what I think she told me.
Yeah.
nasopharynx. Oh, because this is the hard palate, soft palate, uvula. Well, I
Uvula?
guess, yeah, you could say that uvula is a part of your nasopharynx. Yeah,
So that red part's all uvula.
yeah, this red part. And then the next one is your tongue. Basically, this one, I'm not gonna put it. This whole thing is your tongue. And then you guys remember that from here to here is your hard palate. And then you guys remember in the model that from here, sometimes it goes beyond to your uvula is your soft palate. And then you guys get the idea, the hard palate, soft palate, and at the end of the soft palate, we have this thing, this structure called the palatine tonsil. So that's where it gets its name from, because of the palate, and then on the side is soft. It's palatine tonsil. Behind your tongue, we have what we call the lingual tonsil. It's this structure.
Where would the oral pharynx?
Oropharynx,
Yeah.
that's behind your lingual, from your after your nasopharynx is your from here to here is your oropharynx. It's basically behind your lingual tonsil. So you guys good? Could I just erase it and it goes to the next image?
Yep.
So from the bottom, so again, we know that from here to here, from here is your oral pharynx. This is what you call, again, the palatine tonsil, lingual tonsil. And this structure right here is your epiglottis. It's basically the flap that allows the entry of the air or the blockage of the food. And this area right here, including your vocal cords, is what we call the larynx. Behind your larynx, from here until here, is what we call the laryngeal pharynx. Back to the larynx, we have what we call the true vocal cords and the false vocal cords. We just always remember that true is at the bottom of this divider and false is the one on the top.
Can you put VC?
You see?
Vocal cords, VC. False VC. Write it.
Oh, false.
Mhm.
True vocal cords. I think the next one I believe is right here, which is your this cartilage right here is your thyroid cartilage. And then we also have this structure right here. It's a small bone, and we call that the hyoid bone. This structure right here is what we call the cricoid cartilage. And I think those are all the cartilage in the bones. From here, going downward is where trachea begins. This hollow space at the back is your esophagus. I think that's it for that one. You guys good? Could I
Yep.
proceed to the next one? Okay. So then the next one would be your pituitary gland. Pituitary gland is just basically this pink part. And then infundibulum is just this tip. And 1, 3. Yeah, I think that's it. Did I miss anything? You guys have any question? That's pretty much it. And if you guys are curious, hypothalamus is on this area. So we talk about the hypothalamus. It releases hormones to the pituitary gland, which is this one. And then that would just send hormones to everywhere.